Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Akeem, and in today's Daily Fix, there's gameplay footage of Assassin's Creed Shadows popping up online as early copies were apparently sold on Facebook Marketplace. Now, we break it all down for you, plus a small update from the next unannounced sequel in Insomniac Spider-Man series, and Sony has revealed their plans to avoid raising prices on the PS5. This is your Daily Fix. All right, now I got some bad news for Ubisoft as early copies of Assassin's Creed Shadows have leaked and people are playing it online a month before the game's slated release next month. Now, a user on the subreddit Gaming Leaks and Rumors posted some since-removed content claiming to have bought the hard copy from the online marketplace on Facebook. Now, multiple copies of Assassin's Creed Shadows have also made their way to a US auction site, with one user selling multiple copies for $100 each. Now, the game, when it's launched, will retail for $70. And of course, there were Twitch streams too. Multiple streams have popped up here and there, but they have all since been taken down. Now, this is just the latest in a long list of things that have gone wrong leading up to the release of the next Assassin's Creed video game. Now, the 14th major installment in the AC series was originally slated for release last November before it was pushed to February 2025 on Valentine's Day, and then again to March 2025. Now, Ubisoft has assured gamers that there is a lot of demand for this game, despite those issues, stating that pre-orders are, quote, in line with those of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the second most successful entry of the franchise. Now, leaked copies of Assassin's Creed Shadows allegedly feature an older version of the game. Now, while we can only speculate about the reason for these copies being printed so early or how they got into the wild, it's safe to say there won't be any more delays. Now, the game is locked and loaded for gamers on March 20th for consoles and PC. All right, moving right along, Marvel's Spider-Man 3 hasn't been officially announced by Insomniac, but it does seem to be in the works, and just as importantly, Peter Parker will still have a large role to play. Now, without going into too many details, at the end of Spider-Man 2, Parker entertains the idea of taking a step back and allowing his protege, Miles Morales, to step up as the city's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Now we know, thanks to Peter Parker voice actor Yuri Lowenthal, that this won't mean Peter Parker is taking a backseat in future games. Now, speaking with the Direct, Yuri said, quote, "There are very few things that I can say about this game, but you have somehow landed on the one thing that I can answer, and that's that, yes, Peter is not gone. He will be a part of the next game, and he won't be relegated to the couch, I promise." Now, in the past, Yuri has mentioned the misconception that Peter Parker would no longer be featured in the popular Insomniac series, adding, quote, "While I think that Peter would love to believe that he can just turn it off and not be Spider-Man anymore and live a completely normal life, I don't think that's what's going to happen now. It can't happen. He's a superhero, for crying out loud." The last we heard about Spider-Man was that Spider-Man 2 will not receive any DLC. That means no additional missions or story beats. Now, this obviously disappointed fans who had expected more content. The Spider-Man 1, released in 2018, received a collection of DLC missions. So the two big takeaways here: Spider-Man 3 is indeed coming at some point in time, and Peter Parker isn't going anywhere. And we'll have to wait and see any sort of official word to shake out about Spider-Man 3 from Insomniac in the future, hopefully very, very near future. Will we get it before Wolverine? Well, who's to say? And finally, if you live in the US, you've probably heard a lot about tariffs. And while they're a hot button topic, one thing that's abundantly clear is that they'll affect the prices of goods made outside the US, which includes video games. Now, Sony is paying attention and acknowledged this concern in its third quarter financial results, specifically addressing how the company is looking to avoid higher prices on PlayStation products like the PS5 and any future hardware. Now, some of the potential ways to avert raising prices include working to duplicate their supply chains and stockpiling a certain level of strategic inventory. Now, overall, Sony considers the impact of these tariffs, quote, at this point in time to be minor. And basically, Sony is going to stock up on products in the US and make moves to produce their products outside of China if needed. Now, the PS5 sold 9.5 million units during the last holiday season. Now, with that in mind, it makes sense that they'd stock up on consoles in the US now rather than risk having to raise the prices in the coming weeks or months. Now, while it's reassuring that Sony is working to not pass along costs to consumers, it's worth noting that this doesn't necessarily guarantee there will be no effects, just that they will likely be minor. Hopefully, console prices don't change, and hopefully this doesn't push back the launch of the PS6 whenever that might be. All right, and that about does it for your Games Fix for today, Monday, February 24th. You just platinum another episode. It's a busy week here at IGN. We just kicked off FanFest 2025, a 5-day online event that celebrates the biggest upcoming games, movies, and shows with a ton of trailers, reveals, interviews, and other exclusive content. Now, today was the IGN Xbox Showcase hosted by yours truly, where a bunch of awesome-looking new indie games got revealed. So go check that out. Now, thanks for joining us on today's Daily Fix episode, and we'll see you tomorrow.